Hello, hello! I'm Steph, and I help people like you create a life you love. Gotta get the lighting a little bit better here. It's not so hot. Let's see what I can do. Today's video is for you health coaches out there. The number one mistake you may be making and what you can do to be a successful leader. Let's see for lighting. May just have to move. That'll do. Okay, I'm just going to share the video out and we'll be starting in 60 seconds. Frankie, why don't you come sit on the couch? Come on up for your viewing pleasure. Up, up. Nope, not having it. So the reason why I do Facebook Lives from my business page is because Facebook actually tracks it, so you can check the analytics. If you do it from your personal page, you can't check the analytics, and all that means is it shows you who watches, and then you can get super creepy and retarget people. So if you're business savvy, it's like building a list if you go live from your business page, and then you can share it into your group. So for example, if I did this video in my business group for business junkies, then those are the only ones that can see it, as opposed to what I'm doing now, which is just sharing it into different groups or different audiences that might like the content. So that way you get more people seeing your stuff. So I will share it onto my personal page. We'll share it into my business group. And if you haven't joined our business group, it's called Work Smarter, Not Harder. A free group. I just share all the stuff that I've done over the past couple years when I took my business from part-time to full-time, all the podcasts I listened to, free resources, videos like this. It's just somewhere to get started, and then you can practice live videos and everything in there if you're nervous to do it in a bigger audience. Our group's very supportive in there. So it's called Work Smarter, Not Harder, and you just ask to join. All right. Let's get started. So today's topic is for coaches, whether you're a health coach or a business coach, any type of wellness coach, any type of coach. What we're talking about today is the number one mistake that you may be making. Guilty of it too in the past, as well as what you can do to be a successful coach and leader. Still not happy with this lighting. This is the one that gets recorded. So this lighting's okay, that's Instagram, but this one is not. That's the recording one. And then too, if you ever do Facebook Live videos, you can download them to your computer and then upload them to YouTube and everything, whereas Instagram doesn't save it. So the one that you want looking good is Facebook. And Instagram is owned by Facebook, so I think one day they will probably allow you to save them. Okay, get up there. Okay, so the number one mistake that health coaches make is trying to fix people. That doesn't work. Nobody likes to be told that they're broken, nor is everybody broken. So if you are trying to fix people in your coaching business, stop. All that I mean by this, and it's our go-to, right? When there's a problem, we want to help fix it. But that's not effective coaching or leadership. So what you can do, I'm going to give you a couple easy things that you can do, and I have them written down. So the skill number one that you can do to be an effective coach is ask empowering questions. So never ask why. If you can imagine if you're crying for no reason and someone says, why are you crying? That doesn't feel good. But if they ask a different question, using how, what, when, where, it leads to a much warmer conversation. So it's the same with coaching. Don't ask people why they're not successful or why they didn't make any sales this week. Never use the word why. Instead, use who, what, where, when, how. So some questions would be, for example, with my direct selling business, I would ask my coaches, what are your favorite products? Instead of how come or why haven't you sold anything yet, right? That's an obvious one. Or where do you see yourself in a year? So these are empowering questions. Where do you want to grow? And our job as coaches is to help people bridge the gap, as well as connect with the bigger reason of why they're doing things. People only do things for good reasons. We're not going to lose weight just for surface level reasons. So for health coaches, you really have to get them to connect with why they're doing it. So they're alive enough, long enough to play with their grandchildren. Something super deep. And how you do that is you ask open-ended questions. And you really, as a coach, your job is to listen. You give them the opportunity to talk. If an easy way to know that the coaching call or conversation is not favorable is if you're talking. So there's a difference between coaching and training. If somebody's bought a training from you or they want to learn about a topic or you're doing a webinar, that's a training and you talk all day long. They're there to consume content. Coaching is the client needs to talk more. So whether you're selling coaching or trainings, there's a big difference. And if you're leading a team of people, you want the ratio of 80% coaching, 20% training. All right, so that was the first skill that you can do, is ask empowering questions and avoid why like the plague. Skill number 2 is heart-centered listening. So this just means your client's going to feel valued and you actually care what their answers are, not just asking questions to ask questions. So it's a connection, and people like to be heard. So that's skill number 2, is actually listening instead of just having your list of questions. If you have a bunch of things that you want to know, send them a worksheet beforehand so that they can fill those out, so that on your coaching call, you're not just drilling them with questions. That would be more of an interview, not coaching. So some of the questions I would ask my team would be, when would you like to start growing? Because another mistake is assuming someone joins on your team and they want to go full tilt. Maybe they don't. Maybe they just want to have a couple extra dollars, or maybe they join to actually get coaching by you. So when would you like to start growing? That way, they might say, oh, I'm not actually interested in growing a business. Okay, it's a totally different conversation. What do you want to learn? How would you like to be built? How would you like to build? How would you like to be coached? So these are all questions beforehand. You can ask them either on a call or a worksheet before. I prefer to ask a bunch of questions in worksheet, and then once the coaching call comes, then they can really just talk. If anything may be holding you back from growing, or what, if anything, may be holding you back from growing. And then repeat back to them so that you're clear on the dialogue. So that would be, so they tell you something, instead of saying, oh, this is how you fix it, this is what you do. Say, what I hear you saying is you would like to drop some weight so that you can play with your grandchildren and you're alive for the rest of their life. And then they can come back and say, yes, that is what I said. And it just reaffirms it to them. And you don't just give them what you don't do is give them a list of things to do, because that's super overwhelming. And then the third skill is compassionate feedback. And you empower them to find their own greatness. So what are your skills? What are your strengths? What have you done in the past to have success? What's 3 things you did this week that you're proud of? So you're pulling out of them their amazingness instead of them looking at you thinking, I'm not good enough, I can't be like her, right? So that's what you do as a coach, is you pull out. You don't give them the plan and say everything you're doing is wrong, here's what you need to do. Instead, you pull out what are the things you're doing right and what can we do to move forward. As well, you always want to ask permission, unless they've purchased a coaching program. If you are having a conversation and you really want to give someone advice, you got to ask permission. I saw that this week quite a few times. People learning different coaching skills and just practicing them on people without asking permission. So that's kind of, don't do that. It's not nice to be drilled with questions when you didn't sign up for that. Okay, and then the fourth skill was accountability and commitment. So I drill this into my sales of my 90-day program all the time because that's why it works, the accountability and commitment. Working years in clinics, I would see people once. They would get the full plan of what to do to be healthy, and then I would never see them again. So I got super strict a couple years ago. I only coached people for 90 days because that's where we saw the true change. So that fourth skill is to really get them to agree to an action and stay accountable. So make it super specific. When would you like to see this goal by? How? What day? And not everyone's inspired by money. So depending on how, if you're coaching, you're leading a team or business coaching, you can't assume somebody's inspired and wants to get to a certain goal because of money. They might be, their why might be freedom or all sorts of reasons. So you just ask the open-ended questions to figure out what their reason is. You can't assume that everybody's motivated by money. Same with when you're doing promos and discounts. Discounts are good. They'll get some people to sign up, but often that's not what people are motivated by. They're motivated by emotions. How is this program going to help me? How's it going to make me feel? How's it going to change my life? So the three common would be money. Some people are motivated by money, freedom, and emotions. How's it going to make them feel? And then you encourage them to work within their strengths. So again, we already kind of went over this, but you pull it out of them what they're good at, what their strengths are, and then build on that to help them in their own journey. All right, so just to recap, this conversation, and the replay will be up, was on how to be an effective coach, what not to do, as well as what to do. So what not to do is train when you sold a coaching program. Training is telling somebody what to do. Coaching is asking questions. So avoid why like the plague. Don't ask people why. They are not broken. Do not try to fix people. And then what to do is ask open-ended questions. If you're talking more than the client, then it's not an effective coaching call. You really want them to be talking. An open-ended question is something that they can't answer yes or no to. If you want them to be valued, you want them to be heard, you want to build a sense of community and support and connection, and then really ask questions to pull out their strengths so that you bridge the gap and you empower them to figure it out on their own, as opposed to telling them what to do and to train them or fix them, because that That's not what coaching is. And you can effectively do both within your organization. But just if you are a health coach building programs, be online, be specific and know what you're selling. So if you're selling a training program, then or a webinar, that's all trainings. If you're selling a coaching program, then that is you coaching the person to figure it out for themselves, not telling them what to do. They're not broken. Yes, asking questions. Tony Robbins says this too, it's the power is in the questions asked. And I went to his session this week on effective coaching and leadership, which was amazing. I learned all this stuff that I'm sharing with you guys, and then it also made sense as to why I built a 90-day program and why it works. It's a series of worksheets asking them questions. So they work through it on their own and figure it out through a series of questions. Questions being, what are your strengths? What did you do today? What are your accomplishments? Where would you like to grow? What has been a struggle in the past? So it's asking questions, it's peeling back layers. And within 90 days, they've figured out this life and they're living a life that they wanted to live. And it's through a series of worksheets or questions, as well as I give feedback and whatnot, but it's very effective, and because it's just a bunch of questions, worksheet after worksheet. Powers in the questions. What else so I got here? This is my little book. These are my notes from the past week with all the coaching sessions. Oh, and if you want to have more sales, then you help your team or you yourself, you increase your happiness. There's studies shown that with increased happiness, your sales increase by 37%. So often I'll tell people, or when they ask, how do you sell? I say, I go to yoga. Not that simple, but you raise your vibe and people will come. People don't want to buy or be around you if you're a negative Nancy. So if you're a negative Nancy or you're feeling low, your job is not to connect with people. Your job is to get your vibe high. And your current vibe attracts your tribe. Not who you want to be, but who you currently are. So if that's where you're at in your coaching business, is you're stuck, you don't know what to do, sales aren't coming, your job is to perhaps hire a coach or get your self-love and self-care up, and your sales will go up as well. So if that's you, if you feel like you're forcing your sales and business, take a step back and work on yourself and really check out your vibe, and then do things that will help raise your vibration. It is that simple. I get more sales when I go on vacation, when I'm going to yoga, when I'm vibing really high. Ask other leaders that you know. It's really, that was a theme this week as well with the successful leaders teaching, was figure out why you're doing this and do personal growth. That is really all successful leaders coach on, Tony Robbins included, is figure your shit out first before you try to help others. All right. And it's contagious, right? If you're passionate about something. Another thing too is if you have multiple, I do multiple income streams, and they all help each other. So if you have one income stream that isn't working for you, building your other brands up or your other areas of life will actually help that income stream. So your job is to figure out something you're passionate about. And if you don't see the link right away, that's okay. If you don't see why going to the dog park and playing with your dog and everybody's dog's there will increase your sales and business, don't worry about it. It will work. You don't have to pitch whatever you're selling at the dog park. Your job is just to go enjoy yourself and raise your vibe. So figure out a passion. It doesn't have to connect to your business. Figure out something that you love to do and do that like crazy. And a couple more notes on mindset of successful leaders. These are some characteristics. They accept others. They have a win-win mindset. So if you are still stuck in that mindset of, if that person does well, I'm not doing well, or judging yourself, that has to change. Successful leaders have a win-win mindset. That's great. You're doing well, so am I. And they welcome feedback. They're open to growing, open to opportunities. They don't feel threatened. They believe in themselves, feel good in their skin. So that means they have good self-worth and will have successful businesses. David asks, favorite income streams for coaches besides consults. So the way I make money as a health coach, I'm a fan of passive stuff. So this means like you do the work once and you get paid multiple times. So that would be an ebook. So if you could write, what kind of coach are you, David? So you could write an ebook and then sell that over and over and over again, and you're constantly you're making money. Or a course that runs itself. So I personally use Natural Nutrition. Awesome. Yeah. So nutrition is actually something that does really well with training. So you could do a webinar once or an intensive 2-hour and record it and sell it along with an ebook. Congratulations. Are you in Halifax? So that was a closed-ended question. Are you in Halifax? If I would have said, where are you from? That would be open-ended. Yep, awesome. So, so multiple income streams. My background's nutrition as well. Would be an ebook, recorded video lessons, an online shop. I have like an online Amazon store where I'll do educational talks. Say the topic was skin or hair health, and then I could link to my Amazon store with different products. And then that's just there to make money, as well as coaching would be, you could do one-on-ones, or I personally run a coaching program 90 days through a series of worksheets and emails. I don't actually talk face-to-face or in person. It's they run through the course through worksheets, and then we're corresponding through email, and I've also set up the emails so that they get them through automation. So the more you can automate your business, systemize, make that word up, create a system, and duplicate, that's where the freedom becomes applicable. That's where you can sit back and watch your business run itself. So it all depends on what you want to do. If you're passionate about working with people, then you could make a full business just on coaching. If you really want that freedom, then you could set up those multiple streams. And then the last thing that I do that I added just a year ago was direct selling, which I was totally turned off from at first because I knew nothing about it. But it just so happens to be my biggest revenue stream now. So it all depends on what you do, and a little bit on direct selling is I really do recommend doing multiple as well as building your own brand, because as much as I love the company I partnered with, and I don't think they're going to go under, I never want to have my eggs in one basket. I always want to have multiple streams. Same with programs, right? If I have a signature program, once upon a time, I really wanted to build my full income just with that signature program. I thought, how cool would that be? I would be so focused. But imagine I stopped being passionate about coaching on that program, or it stopped selling for some reason. So you can have multiple streams so that you don't, if one goes down or you lose your passion, you still have all your other ones. Direct selling is you sell products and then you make commission on it. And a little bit on direct selling. A lot of people do direct selling and are not doing well in it because they're really just doing affiliate marketing. Direct selling means that you actually have a team under you as well, and you help your team to be successful. A lot of people are indirect selling and they're just selling the products for commission. You can build that way perfectly fine, but treat it as an affiliate. Don't treat it as, don't be let down when you're not making the money that you think you should be because of all these high hopes that you had for yourself. So that's what direct selling is. You make commission for the products you sell, but you also have team members under you and you make commission off of what they sell because you're helping them do their job properly. What else did I want to say? It'll come back to me. No problem. Thanks for engaging. I also have a free Facebook community group. It's called Work Smarter, Not Harder. You can join us there, absolutely free. I personally have been health coaching for years and years and years and successfully moved my business online, completely changed my life over, no longer in clinics or anything, just working online from around the world. And just recently, in bringing in the business coaching aspect because I love it. I want to help people do what I did, and I'm still in brainstorm mode, but I think the program is going to be called Don't, with a big X over it, Quit Your Day Job. Because I know so many people, myself included, a year ago I was working 10 jobs and running my business. So it wasn't until I treated my business seriously, stopped saying it was a hobby, and that's when I switched over and did it full time. Because it's exhausting. I don't know if you guys can relate, but running your own business that isn't lucrative, plus doing all your other jobs to pay the bills, it was not fun. It's a great stepping stone. So if you are in that position, instead of being mad about it, just tell yourself it's temporary. It's temporary. Okay, 3 more months. I can do this for 3 more months, but then make a plan. So that's what I did. I made the decision. So you really want to make a decision that what you're going to do, and then make a plan. I'm obsessed with 90-day plans. So that's what I did last couple years ago. I made the decision, okay, this is happening. Instead of being mad at all my jobs that were giving me money, I said, this is great. This is temporary. They're going to help pay the bills. And I'm going to give myself 90 days to figure this out. And that's what I did. I worked with a business coach. I hired somebody for $500 a month to help me create clarity of exactly what I wanted. And then I made my first $5,000 in 1 month and quit all my jobs. So I think that's what my program's going to be is don't, with a big X over it, quit your day job. Because my life has completely changed and I would love to help other people do the same. I still have all my coaching stuff going on. There's 1,000,001 videos. Whatever you want to learn, it's there, as well as I still have my one signature coaching program for health coaches. But I tell you, once people get into that, it's a lifestyle overhaul. So when they come, they might think they want to change their food, but by the 3rd month, the 90 days, they're realizing it's not about the food. It's about their mindset. It's about positive living. It was really about what they were taught, their negative thoughts. So for years and years, I studied. I did my 5-year nutrition degree and was teaching on nutrition because, I'm just going to check question. Yeah, I'm in Halifax, David, and I live online, so we can chat online, or we can meet up in Halifax, for sure. Go to yoga. Those are usually my business meetings. We go to yoga. You could come to Silks. As well, what was I going to say? Yeah, I was teaching on health for years and years. I trained as a dietitian, so I thought, well, I'm going to use my profession. And I was always like molding it into my own thing. So people would come into the clinic and be like, all right, so what do I eat? Can I have a meal pattern? And then I would try to my passions were around positive mindset and your relationship with food. So I would try to teach them how to do that when really they just wanted a meal plan. So it was butting heads for years, and I didn't understand why my business wasn't super successful, why I hated going to clinics. So that was my first step, was getting clear on how I wanted to work. And you work from the outside in, you figure out what you want and how you want to operate, because if you're coaching people to be a people pleaser, it's not going to work long term. I've been there as well, saying yes to every opportunity because you should, shitting on yourself. Don't do it. Yeah. So work from the outside in. Figure out how you want to work, how much money you want to make, how you want to make it, how you want to coach with people, and then make the offer. And just a little bit on that is another thing that people get caught up in, coaches, is content creation without any action. Or how awful does it feel if you spent 9 months working on a program and nobody buys it? So pull your audience as well. Figure out your specifics, get super clear on what you want to do, but then pull your audience and figure out if there's an actual need for what you're going to create. If you are new to health coaching, then you need to be super specific on what you're selling. Niche down like Batman crazy. If you have authority in your industry, you can then be a little bit more broad. Then another huge mistake health coaches make, I'm a health coach. I coach on healthing. All right, coach on being healthy. People don't know what that is. You got to be specific. I help women balance out their hormones and regulate their periods. That's super specific. I teach yoga I teach prenatal yoga, not I teach yoga. You got to be super specific like that when you have no authority. Once you build authority in the industry, you can open up your line. As well, people buy when they connect to emotion, money. So the three main cells are sex, money, and health. Yeah. So those are the three that you want to fall into one of those, and then you niche down and down and down and down. I am just working out my niche for my business coaching. I have a lot of different ideas, and I'm going to ask my audience which ones they want. And since I don't have as much authority in the business world as I do health, I got to be super specific. So getting clear on your niche, that might be it. As well as just take action. So I've seen way too many people, and I didn't really fall into this trap because I must have listened to a podcast or something where I learned it. But content creation, screw it. Just get into action. And if you're not comfortable on video, get comfortable or pick a different mode that you're really good at. So the modes to give content are video, blogging, audio, like YouTube, but posts are kind of dead. Like social media posts are not really effective anymore. The most effective is video, live video. If you can get comfortable on that, practice. Not very many people show up to videos live, so you can just give her, and it's the replay that people watch. So if you show up and there's only one person, don't let that mess with your vibe. The recording's going to be there, and it's not about you, it's about the customer. How are you helping? People don't care how perfect it is. They don't care what you look like. They care if they're getting valuable information. And they can unfollow you if they don't like what you have to say. So don't worry about being judged or anything like that. And then step into action. Give yourself 5 days, commit to 5 videos every day, either live on your business page, your personal page, or you can actually do it in a group that you feel comfortable with, if that feels better for you. All right, see if I have any other gems from I went to a 4-day convention on leadership and growing and business. So that's here's a good one. Storytelling. That presentation was amazing. And any posts or videos that I've done telling stories, they've actually gotten way more views. So storytelling, key. Because it actually changes your brain chemistry and it increases oxytocin and cortisol in the audience. So that is what I just ordered a book, a workbook on perfecting my story so that I can share with others and help them more effectively. So a story for me, look at Frank. One of my stories would be, what can I tell? Once upon a time, I was wearing 10 different hats. I was working in clinics as a dietitian. I was working corporate wellness as a dietitian. I was working at a medical center, complete medical care. Boring story. Okay, let me start again. Basically, I was burnt out and scattered, working 10 different jobs and working my business because this is why I'm getting the workbook, so that I can work on telling my story. That being said, practice is permanence, not perfection. Practice, practice, practice. The more I practice my story, the easier it's going to roll off my tongue. And I will tell you, it was when I invested in a business coach is when my business and life totally transformed. So it was New Year's Eve, December 31st. And I was ready. I was like building my business for years. I was so ready to quit my day job and do it full time. So I'm searching around. I went to Instagram, like everybody does, to find their problems, get their problems solved. And I found this ad. It was like speaking beautifully to me because that's what creepy Instagram and Facebook ads do. It was sponsored and it said, find clarity in your business. Take your business full time. Take your business to the next level. All the things that I was thinking and ready to do while I was goal setting on New Year's Eve. So I clicked and I signed up for the free webinar. That was that night. Imagine that. How beautiful was that timing? I went to the webinar and I filled out my goals. I was ready to take action, how much I wanted to make per month, how I wanted to do it, why I wanted to do it. It was getting me to dig deep. It asked me the right questions to really connect. And then I had a clarity call with the coach just to make sure it was good. And I hired her for $500 a month. That was the most for 3 months. That was the most I would have invested in my business. And I made my first $5,000 month by the end of that. So yes, it was worth it. And the only difference was I hired a coach, kept me accountable, and all of the things that I wanted to do, we put into action instead of the years of me being so burnt out and scattered, and they were all just ideas. And another huge tip that I think made a huge difference was I stopped shitting on my day jobs and thinking of them as a positive, saying, this is great. This gives me the financial, I'm not stressed out because I have this job. It's 3 more months. It's temporary. It's getting me to my big picture goal. So it's a good thing. So then when I would go into work, I'd be happy rather than dragging my ass, wishing I was at home working on my business. So if you're in that position and you're ready to leave your full-time job and you're dreading it, give yourself a timeline. And 90 days is great to make that plan and be out the door at 90 days. And then switch your mindset. This job is great. It served me, served its purpose. It's a stepping stone to where I want to go. It's amazing. I'm able to build my business to what I need it to be without being stressed financially. It's allowing me to invest in a coach so that I can work on this. So just all the positives to do with your job, instead of shitting on it and every day dragging your ass to work saying, I wish I was home working on my business. So that was a good thing that I did. And then did it. She kept me accountable. The proof was in the pudding when I made the money. And then that allowed me to quit my jobs, and that was enough. And then I just went month after month. Oh my gosh, I paid my bills. Oh my God, I did it again. Oh, I'm doing it. And then a year passed and I celebrated. Another thing too, business owners, celebrate your wins a lot. We're such high achievers and we go into our own business for freedom. but then we're hustling and hating our lives because we're stressed out. So celebrate your wins, even the tiny ones. That will keep you motivated and keep you going. As well as find community for support. It can be lonely as an entrepreneur. It does not have to be. So find physical communities like yoga studios, online communities of people doing the same thing. I've got one called Work Smarter, Not Harder. Screw the 9 to 5. That's one that that was my community when I was serious about it. Yeah. Whew. All right. I'm out. Thanks for watching. Frankie says bye. Bye, buddy. Let me know if you're a dog lover, like me.